Okay, so welcome back to another video. I am very out of breath. I've just been running up and down the road because I keep forgetting things. I've now had to go to the shop, but it's fine. Just gonna breathe. I am now on my way to Powering Through, which is a gym in Essex. It's a really nice gym, really good people. So we're now gonna head there. It is about an hour and 45 minutes away, but I should be there for about 10:30. So that's about when I want to get there. So I'm not running late for once. That's good. But yeah, now gonna head there. Nothing to really report. I have had a horrible headache now for like over 24 hours. It's definitely died off a lot today. I went to bed at like 9 o'clock last night, so I've literally had 10 hours of sleep. But yeah, it's still a little bit there this morning. I haven't taken any painkillers yet though. I'm probably going to take some just before I train, just to kind of get rid of any like dull ache that's still in my head. But yeah, other than that, things are good. I'm just going to go. It's week 2, nothing too heavy. But yeah, I don't know how busy the gym's going to be today, but this is a gym that I've been to once before to train. I've been there before for a comp, but and the last time I went to train there, I felt very not uncomfortable, that sounds wrong, just like quite anxious, because I've said before, I get anxious in busy gyms, in gyms with new people, and I get on with everyone that goes to this gym, but I know that it's likely to be one that kind of almost replicates the feeling I get on comp day, I guess. So that's why I also want to go here more. They've got really good equipment, good people, and it's going to help me like get over my mental barrier that I struggle with on comp. Just rambling. Gonna head there now so I don't end up turning up late. Yeah, so I'm not gonna take my camera in. I'm just gonna film on my phone when I get there, I think. But yeah, I'll put the clips in and then we'll talk about the session after, I guess.
We head for the sky, it's alright. Our wings wouldn't fly, it's alright. If we are crashing down again, pieces of love, it's alright. Scattered in mud, it's alright. You're giving me a lie again. And tell me what you want, this time I won't take it to the heart, cause I know we won't make it out. I've heard it all before. Yeah, tell me what you want, let me hear that I'm the only one. You know that we won't make it out. We've heard it all before. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright, so let's move on. 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 We head for the sky, it's alright. Our wings wouldn't fly, it's alright. If we are crashing down again, pieces of love, it's alright. Scattered in mud, it's alright. You're giving me a lie again. And tell me what you want, this time I won't take it to the heart, cause I know we won't make it out. I've heard it all before. Yeah, tell me what you want, let me hear that I'm the only one. You know that we won't make it out. We've heard it all before. It's alright. Hey, it's alright. Hey, it's alright.
Okay, so I'm home. Ignore all the mess around me. I'm literally just like curled up on the sofa with a blanket over me. So session went incredibly well. The gym was pretty quiet when I first got there, so I just kind of cracked on and got squats kind of mostly done before everyone else got there. I think I was then on my top single when people kind of walked in, or like my fatigue single. But no, I'm really happy with how it went. So I mentioned earlier, I have had a bit of like feeling a bit groggy. I had a really bad headache all of yesterday and it was still a little bit there this morning. But actually, when I got there, it was there a little bit. I just wasn't really in the mood to train, but by the time I started, I didn't even notice it anymore, so that's really good. And yeah, the session, I was very calm. Like, I didn't ask for spots at all, apart from my top single on bench. I did ask for commands, and I just said, you know, if I die, help me. And then my first set of back-offs, I also just got someone to watch over my set just to make sure. But it was very, like, no hype. Not that I'm a hype lifter, but it was just very calm. Like, just got on with it, didn't overthink it. And yeah, I'm so happy with how everything moved. I did misgroove my 5th rep on my top set of 5 on squats, but you can't really tell apart from the fact that I pulled a face on the way up. So yeah, everything moved really well. And then I did RDLs at the end with 100, 3x8, and that's the most comfortable RDLs at 100 I've felt, to be fair, so I'm going to go up next week. Yeah, really happy. And also what was really nice, so I didn't feel anxious at all this time going there, which is amazing, and I didn't really, like, everything felt good. Bench on the Alico also felt, like, the Alico rack felt incredible in my singlet as well, which is something I was really worried about, so really happy with that. I adapted to that really well, and squats feel so much nicer on a combo. I thought that for both sessions this week than in the rack. Like, the unrack and stuff just feels so much smoother, and everything just felt lighter on my back. But I mean, I like training at home, I'm not going to change that. Yeah, what was I going to say? Mine's gone blank. Oh, one thing that was really nice. So I bumped into someone someone else was training there, and they got there literally when I did. And he kind of asked what I had, and I said just like light squat, bench, and then RDLs. And he came up to me at the end, and he was like, I thought you said you were going light today on squats and bench. And I was like, I was. And then I realised, I was like, 162 and 110. So 162 squat, 110 bench are like, don't register incredibly light for me now. Which is pretty cool, especially the 110 bench. I mean, the fact that it doesn't even register is amazing. One thing that I have been told now, so it was British Bench here a couple of weeks ago. That's the comp that I refed at both days of the weekend. And then it's been British Juniors this week, and British Powerlifting have invested in this new like mat carpet for the platform. And at both comps now, people have reported that the floor was ridiculously slippy for bench. So I think at comp I'm gonna have to lower my expectations for bench a little bit, because I'm so like leg drive heavy on bench. I'm hoping my shoes are alright, to be fair, and I might just like wet underneath of my feet a little bit. Like I'll just have to adapt on the day, basically is what I'm saying. But that makes me a little bit more nervous for bench, so I'm probably gonna have to open like lighter than I kind of initially thought. I can't get my words out. Than I initially thought, but I mean that's something I can't practice for. Like I just have to deal with it on the day. But yeah, it's something I'm kind of glad I know and I can kind of prepare for though, so that'll be fine. I'll just make sure I open light enough that I can just take smaller jumps if it doesn't feel great, or I can take a bigger jump and stick with my normal like planned kind of attempts. But obviously I'm like 12, 13 weeks out still, so I don't really have to worry about that yet. But yeah, no, it was a really good session, and I'm gonna be honest, I went through like this horrible moment of self-doubt in the middle of the week. I think it was Thursday. I didn't feel good Thursday anyway, and I just had this sudden moment, which I get every time I enter a comp. I go through this period of like, I'm not as strong as I want it to be when I next step on the platform. I'm not going to do very well. I'm not going to hit the numbers I want to hit. I'm going to end up doing terribly. People are going to think that I'm weak for my weight category, or like I haven't made the progress that I should have made in this time off, and just things like that, which I know isn't a thing. And also, no one's going to pay attention to what I lift apart from me. Like, and especially even if people do pay attention, within a week they'll have forgotten anyway, so it doesn't matter. And I know I've made incredible progress over the last few months. Like, I'm not a newbie lifter. I have put, how much have I put on my squat? 12.5 on my squat, about 10 on my bench, and then who knows what I've put on my deadlift, at least 7.5, but probably more on my deadlift since I competed in August. And I'm honestly expecting like a 40 to 50 kilo total increase. And for someone that's been around a while, that's very good. I can't be mad at my progress. So yeah, I was having this massive thing of self-doubt during the week where I was just like, I'm not going to perform on the day. I'm going to mess up. I'm going to do terribly. I'm not as strong as I think I am. And then actually I went into the session today, and I didn't even I wasn't thinking like that when I went into the session, to be fair, but I just kind of went into the session and I realised at the end, I was like, these weights are moving so ridiculously easy, and I have so much more to give. And yeah, I have nothing to be worrying about. So yeah, I think my mindset has kind of shifted back to I can do it if I just believe in myself, which is good. So yeah, kind of rambling. The other thing I want to talk about was something I was going to talk about in the last video, but I didn't, because I didn't really have time to film, and like all of Thursday I felt really terrible, and then Friday I had the worst headache, so I just didn't really get a chance to film without feeling like shit. So thought I'd just save it for this video. And that is something around, or that is talking around like navigating diet culture with being an athlete. So diet culture is basically this world that we've grown up in, which I'm sure most people will be familiar with, so I'm not going to kind of go into too much description on it. But I personally, as a kid and as a teenager and a young adult, really struggled with the effects of diet culture on like my mindset towards food and my relationship with food and my relationship with my body. And I know that I'm very much not alone in that. I'm pretty sure the majority of people have struggled with this, male or female. And it's something that I went straight into working in a gym at 18 years old. Like, as soon as I finished college, I got my PT like certificate and I started working in a gym as a personal trainer. And I was around fitness, and I have been around fitness my entire life since I was 16 when I joined the gym. So fitness very quickly became my life. And before that, I mean, being skinny was what my goal was, and it was my life, and it really affected my eating and stuff. And yeah, I feel like I've done a really good job of like navigating diet culture and kind of dealing with the, I don't want to say trauma, but like the way my mindset and stuff is around food and stuff, and creating a much more healthy relationship with my body, with food and all of that. But sometimes I do find obviously that I slip, and I mean everyone I think does that. Like, we've had this like way of thinking about our bodies and our food and things ingrained in us since we were little kids. But one thing that I like pride myself in is my ability to kind of focus on what my body does rather than what my body looks like and stuff like that. And I do think I am kind of out of the diet culture mentality a lot of the time. Obviously there's moments where I sort of slip up, but basically what I was going to talk around is guilt with food. And I mean, I stick to my macros. I talk about this in videos. Like, my macros, I stick to near enough every single day. Like, there's very few days in a year, maybe 10 at most in a year, that I will not track my food and get off track. And I'm very good at sticking to my macros. And to be honest, I like tracking my macros because I just know that I get better quality food in, and I just feel better in myself. Like, if I'd said to myself, right, you're not going to track on a Sunday from now on, I would just either eat nothing or just eat shit. I wouldn't make healthy choices and choices that are good for my mind or my body or just anything. So yeah, I enjoy tracking. I say enjoy, probably not the right word. But yeah, I don't mind tracking. Like, it's not hard for me to do. It's a habit that I am very much in, and it's kind of ingrained in me at this point. But what I was going to say was, so I'm really rambling. On Wednesday, I had a takeaway Wednesday night, and it was the first takeaway I've had in a while. I've been sticking to my macros for weeks and weeks religiously. I think when I hosted the comp back in January, I had maybe a takeaway that weekend. And then I had another takeaway on like the Monday, but it wasn't anything like indulgent. It was just like a nice kind of roll from a restaurant. Like, it wasn't, can't really get my words out, can't remember what I had. But yeah, it wasn't anything like greasy indulgent. But anyway, so this last week or so, I've had so many cravings, and I think it's because my weight has kind of just dropped quite quickly. Like, I lost like 1 kilo in about a week, but that is only because I caught up on sleep and my sleep quality was better. Like, my calories and macros stayed the exact same. But yeah, my body kind of just caught up with the weight loss. And I think that's probably why I just suddenly felt really hungry. And my Instagram is always full of food because I get loads of my like recipe ideas and stuff from Instagram. So I was constantly just seeing reels of either desserts or just like junk food, and it was just constant, and it made me just really crave like everything. And I just kind of felt like I needed to indulge a little bit. And I just felt really good. Like, I was overthinking this for a good 3 or 4 days of whether or not I should just give in to this like craving that I had. And it wasn't even for one specific food. It was just like everything. Like, I just wanted to overeat, which is just not like me at all. And yeah, I was just kind of talking it through with a friend, and I was like, is it weird that I've got this thing where I just need to like go off plan and eat like crazy? And why am I feeling so guilty? Like, is this a diet culture thing? And anyway, in that conversation, obviously my friend said, like, just treat yourself. Like, it's not weird to need to just want a takeaway. Like, everyone has takeaways, it's fine. Anyway, so I was driving home that night from the gym, and I was like, no, I am going to have one because I shouldn't feel guilty. Like, it's normal. I never indulge. It's not going to do any harm. And it wasn't even that I was worried about gaining weight or like messing with my weight loss and stuff, because I know I've got so much time to lose the weight. Like, it wasn't that at all. There was just this unbelievable level of guilt around the idea of like indulging in greasy food. So anyway, had a pizza. It was delicious, but I did feel like shit the next 2 days. And I think that's why I've had like a horrible headache, and I've just felt really groggy the last 2 days, just because I don't normally eat that sort of thing. But yeah, no, I had Pizza Hut, and then I had the leftovers the next day. So it was 2 days of not tracking on plan. Don't really care, like, it's fine. Because I realised that the guilt I was feeling wasn't even guilt around the weight or anything like that, or how I looked, nothing like that at all. It was the same sort of guilt that I would feel if I was gonna skip a workout or like skip a training session, which obviously I would never do. And so then I was like, do I just feel guilty because eating like this doesn't align with my goals? And that's when it kind of clicked in my head. I was like, that's exactly why I feel guilty, which is just ridiculous, because one meal off plan is no different to, say, like taking a session a bit easier than you're supposed to, like taking an accessory day a little bit lighter than I'm supposed to. Like, it's fine, it doesn't matter. It's literally one meal. So, well, it was 2 days in the end, but it wasn't bad. Well, I can't get my words out. Don't really know what I'm trying to say. Basically, I realised that I have developed this like guilt around messing up with my macros or messing up my calories for a day, the same way I would feel guilty if I skipped a session, which actually in my head made me feel a lot better about the guilt that I'd been feeling. I still don't think anyone should feel guilt around food. Like, unless you're completely eating like trash all the time and then your workouts are suffering, then I think, yes, you should probably reflect on what's going on. But if you are on point with your recovery and everything most of the time, the occasional slip up is fine. It's no different to having like a really bad night's sleep, and I've had enough of those lately. Like, yeah, I just realised that there was no reason to feel guilty, obviously, and I knew that. And I think I was angry that I was feeling guilty, which out of stubbornness, I then had this takeaway, because I was like, I don't get these feelings anymore. Like, I shouldn't feel guilty around what I'm eating. And it was just this really hard concept to understand. Like, I didn't feel guilty about weight gain. I didn't feel guilty about messing with weight loss. I just, like, for once as well, I didn't even feel guilty about spending the money on it, which is what normally bothers me. But yeah, like, it was one takeaway, and I haven't had one in like 2 months, and it was tasty, and I enjoyed it. It did definitely make me feel like shit for 2 days, so I don't really want to do that again for a long time, but it also satisfied the craving that I've been having. So yeah, I don't really know that I got to my point very well there, but basically, I've realised that I need to just keep ticking boxes that align with my goals of being as competitive as possible, which is what I do anyway. Yeah, and that also explains why I've been feeling like shit. But it obviously hasn't had any impact on anything, because, I mean, I had a really good accessory session on Thursday, to be fair. I think because on Thursday I was in such like a self-doubt, negative mood around like competing and stuff, I was like, well, all I can do is push myself as much as I possibly can over the next like 12, 13 weeks. So I went into that accessory session. I just absolutely hammered my accessories, and I had such a nice session, to be fair. I did feel heavy and groggy just from the food, but like it didn't affect my sex. It didn't affect my accessories, so that's good. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. Don't even know if I'm going to use half of this, because I've just been rambling at the camera. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, please leave a like, comment and subscribe. I did have someone ask me a few questions on one of my last videos around programming and making decisions around what to work on in training and stuff like that, which I definitely want to do a full video on at some point. Not sure when that's going to happen. I am hopefully going to be moving soon, so I might wait until after I've moved and I've got a better setup and I can actually like share my screen and stuff a bit easier and show you guys what I do when I plan my blocks and stuff. It might even wait until, I might even wait until comp blocks. I think that'd be quite a cool way to just kind of show how I plan my block into comp. But yeah, I'm going to stop rambling. But if you have any questions for me or anything you'd like to know, please leave a comment down below and let me know. But yeah, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you on Friday for the next one.
It's alright.